World, welcome to another installment of the Fractal Journal. My name is Alex Weir, and this Fractal Journal installment is actually Fractal Radio, the vlog slash podcast type thing of the Fractal Journal, place where I write stories, do essays, etc. Check it out on the link below. But what I've been working on the past couple of days, to the best of my ability, is reading this article about Tim Berners-Lee in Vanity Fair by Katrina Brookers. I thought it was a pretty decent article. Had a bit of a political slant to it, I suppose, because it made assumptions about like election outcomes. You know, that news about how Russians meddled in the elections. But nonetheless, it did bring up all the big issues as well, like the fact that in 2012, Facebook conducted secret psychological experiments on nearly 700,000 users. Both Google and Amazon have filed patent applications for devices designed to listen for mood shifts and emotions in the human voice. That right there is 1984. If it's not, then I don't know what is. But yeah, Tim Berners-Lee was one of the foundational figures in developing the internet as we know it today. He's implicated with that www thing, World Wide Web, and for a really specific definition of what he did, I was eventually able to find this on a timeline on livescience.com. 1990, Tim Berners-Lee, a scientist at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, develops hypertext markup language. So apparently he did the HTML. This article was good also in the fact that it gave an accurate representation that this was a developmental process that involved a lot of people, that the internet emerged out of government projects, etc. And I feel that that's important of a distinction to make because, yes, there are lone geniuses that come along and take things forward in big strides, but really a lot of that, and I think even Henry Ford attested to this fact, is being at the right place at the right time and being willing to put something forward. Now, what did Tim Berners-Lee put forward? HTML, the World Wide Web, and also a set of ethics that he has continuously pretty much kept in line with, which I admire about him and think is important to highlight his projects, like Solid. So what Solid is, it's one of the main focuses of this little article here, is a framework, a platform where you can upload your data and then give permissions that are under your control to, how websites can use that data. So rather than being at the mercy of Google and Facebook, which do stuff like I just mentioned, you become kind of a sovereign individual again. And that's important for all sorts of legal and political reasons. She described something where he drew lines over how big organizations like, say, or people like Elon Musk have this level of connectivity, then people in Ethiopia have like an okay level of connectivity, but they're being spied on heavily. And so a kind of grassroots organization that interests the people, this is something I'm whittling out of it, not something he said, will be harder to form. And it's important, privacy is important for democracy to function. And this is what he's working on defending. And I think he's doing a reasonably good job, which along with efforts by places like Minds.com, PeerTube, and Mastodon, the latter two which were mentioned in this article, are helping with this trend of decentralization that'll help us realize the ethical goal that Tim Berners-Lee put forward and what made the web great. It's said that thing where he put it out, the source code out, and made it free and accessible to everybody, that's what was the web's biggest strength and biggest weakness, because then people started building stuff on top of it with all these algorithms and things that push out kind of skewed narratives as well as spy on you. And addressing that is a very difficult challenge. One of the things where I talked about the political slant is I feel like that, sure, if it's a way that brought this to the attention of the author, then fine. But what we have to do is not so much really try to control what news people, view, so that like we're not going to try to like, oh, well, you're in an echo chamber now and you're subscribed to this feed, which algorithm feeds you that. It's stressing the need for critical thinking and for being responsible with information. That being said, if there is something like egregiously pushing out misinformation, there are legal parameters to address that. Okay, it's kind of a really difficult area to rein in. But as I said, all in all, this article was pretty good. And this turned out to be much shorter than I thought it would be. Probably what I'm going to do, because there's so much in the periphery of what went on here, is write a long article, and maybe like do a voice recording for people who don't really want to read it, of the history of the development of the internet, the problems, and some of the other stuff that was in this article. But right now, if you can see the sun streaming through the windows, it's really, really beautiful out there. I just finished my laundry, and I'm going to go and take a hike in the lovely, lovely sunshine, get myself some vitamin D. So if you liked this video, found it useful, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. Helps me out immensely. If you have any comments or concerns, feel free to share them. I don't bite. I think dialogue is one of the most important things that we can do, which is one of the reasons that I have my website and I have this channel. Take care, folks.